Hi guys, so today's video is a follow-up to the last video I did, because after I released that video I started reading through comments and realized there are some really good comments and other discussions that could be had about this topic, and also just other thoughts that I had after I had released that video and also want to share. So we'll continue with the topic. Are Filipinas just not interested in foreigners anymore? Stick around. All right, so I got a lot of comments and I want to go over some of the ones that were repeated quite often and had a lot of response and a lot of thumbs up on. So let's dive into that. One was that there are far more young people, young guys coming out to the Philippines, and therefore much more competition. I didn't discuss this in the first video, and by the way, if you haven't seen the initial video, you can check it out up above by clicking on the link. So yes, that is true. There are a lot more young guys coming out. There are a lot more digital nomads there. They have the ability now more than ever to work online and make income. I have noticed some things though. So yes, is it true that a Filipina would naturally, let's say a 25-year-old Filipina, is naturally going to be more attracted, and if at all possible, would she rather have a serious relationship and family with a 30-year-old expat? Yeah, of course, and anybody who denies that is just not being realistic. It's the truth. But what I have discovered is a couple of things. One, younger foreigners do not tend to stick around that long. Even if they have the means to work overseas and live here long term, they get antsy or they don't want to stay in one place, and so they're hopping around. They're moving to different parts of the Philippines, or maybe they hop over to Thailand or Indonesia. Now, a couple scenarios: they could get into a serious relationship with a Filipina and they could take her along with for the ride. That's certainly possible, and I see that happen once in a while. But most of the time what happens is they end up just ending the relationship with the Filipina, and she's left saying, well, what happened? I thought we had good chemistry, and next thing you know, he's gone. Or he's getting so much attention because he's a younger expat that he is really just going through one girl after another. And this happens to some Filipinas, and tell you what, after they've been in a relationship with a young foreigner and it ends quickly or it's short-lived, their friends, their family, other Filipinas are saying, you know what, try an older expat, because they tend to be more serious, they have maybe the income, and they tend to want to be more settled in one area. And I find that to be true, just talking to different Filipinas, friends of my wife, and other expats, girlfriends, and things like that. So it is kind of a catch-22. Yes, they do want a younger foreigner if they had the choice, but a lot of them are realistic and know that the younger foreigner probably isn't as serious, maybe doesn't even have the income or the steady income to stay in one place. So therefore, I still believe the older expat has an advantage. Now, I think there's probably limits on that. You know, an 80-year-old guy who is overweight, and it leads me to one of the comments, or several comments from people who were saying the guy should, I've noticed that foreigners come over to the Philippines and they dress like slobs. They are unshaven, they're unkept, they wear ratty t-shirts or whatever. So, or seriously out of shape. And those are all valid points, because if you're a 60-year-old guy and you're not out of shape, let's say you go to the gym, and I'm not saying you need to have six-pack abs and biceps, bulging out to here, but if you keep yourself in relatively good shape, keep yourself clean-shaven, groomed, and you wear decent clothes, not ratty t-shirts and flip-flops and ratty shorts, then you are going to do better as well, because first impressions also matter here in the Philippines. So if you want a leg up on the competition, well, take care of yourself. Be well groomed, hygiene, and you don't have to dress in suits and all of that, but you can at least wear something like simple, like a button casual shirt, a nicer pair of shorts and shoes. You don't need to dress like a beach bum all the time, because if you look around, most Filipinos don't dress like that usually. And so a lot of people also were agreeing on going out to the province. Now, again, there are big advantages to going out to the province. There are some negatives that some people pointed out as well. One, you will find that the English is not as good. Communication can be a problem, so you'll need more patience. Not to say you can't find a girl who doesn't speak good English in the province. You can. Another thing I wanted to mention, several people had mentioned that it really started to decline after the pandemic, because what I think happened, and a lot of people mentioned in the comments, are that when the pandemic hit, more and more Filipinos got online, and more realized that, I don't even need to really get out there and date that much, to be honest. A lot of them can just get online and they can collect money from these foreigners who maybe are never even going to come out. They collect from different foreigners, and they don't need to. They could go and have a Filipino boyfriend and just continue to collect the money from you. That happens a lot. Another thing that happens is during the pandemic, so many got online that a lot of them have been getting into relationships. And so all the ones that are really interested in being with foreigners have already met foreigners. The influx of more and more foreigners coming out here all the time. A lot of people want to blame all the vloggers. It's not just vloggers, it's just word of mouth from other guys. One guy goes to the Philippines and he comes home and he tells one buddy, and he tells another 10 people, hey, it's so easy to meet a young, beautiful Filipina. Or a guy comes back with a young Filipino wife, and the neighbor sees and he's like, wow, I can go to the Philippines and get a young wife as well. And next thing you know, it's word of mouth. So it's not just because a vlogger does a vlog, because you have to be searching for that on YouTube in order to find that anyway. So a lot of the guys are just kind of discovering, not just because of vlogs, but because word of mouth from other guys who have come out here, that this is the place to go, and that they're tired of the West. The more wacky the West becomes, the more guys are getting online, and more guys are coming out here and discovering that it's better here. So even though I may be saying that it is not as good as it used to be, it's still 100 times better than it is in the West. So that is another thing to consider. I really think that the social media has really kind of ruined a lot of things too. So social media, like I said, my first trip, 2015, even back then, it was very hard for Filipinos to find Wi-Fi connection. There was, like here, I'm at the coffee shop now. There's Wi-Fi. In 2015, when I came out here, there was no Wi-Fi coffee shops, restaurants, at the mall, no place, as far as I remember. If you wanted it, you had to get data from Globe or Smart, and it was horrible, to say the least. or you could get Wi-Fi from maybe your hotel or at home, and even then it wasn't really good either. So yeah, the internet and social media, TikTok has emerged, and they're picking up all kinds of Western attitude and unfortunately bad habits and bad attitudes from the West. So social media is a big contributing factor, and so times have changed, and so have Filipinas, unfortunately. I also think that there is a emerging middle class coming out in the Philippines too. A lot of people don't see it initially, but it is starting to come, and salaries are going up, and so they don't quite, a lot of places don't need the foreigners like they used to. So those are just some additional thoughts I had on the matter. So again, it is true that the dating market is not as good. Social media, younger guys coming out, a rising middle class, just more foreigners, you know, and too many foreigners in these popular areas, again, Cebu, Dumaguete, Angeles, Subic, Manila. So can you still get out there and have a great dating experience? Yes. You can greatly improve your chances by dressing. You don't have to look like $1 million, but at least more presentable. Clean shaven. Asian women don't really like dudes with big beards and mustaches. Now, of course, there are Filipinos who are okay with it. If you're overweight, are some Filipinos okay with it? Absolutely. I've seen the fattest guys dressed like the biggest slobs with beautiful Filipinas. So, obviously money talks too. And I do think, like, I'll see a lot of Filipinos with guys who are, like, you got to wonder initially, were they ever really attracted to them? Maybe not. But I have seen them where they look in love, you know, and so maybe over time they've just kind of fell in love with the guy. But again, improve yourself. Go to the gym, eat better, dress a little nicer, be clean shaven. Your chances will greatly improve. You don't need to have six-pack abs. You don't have to be the most handsome guy in the world. But just a few of those things can greatly improve your chances. Get away from all the popular cities that all the guys go to, that are all flocking to. Don't just head to the mall where every single guy goes. Get out, go to local markets, join local groups, get out and explore, and you will greatly improve your chances. So again, questions, comments, comment down below, and we'll have that discussion. Check out my website for a lot more information, hotels, of where to stay at, my moving or traveling out to the Philippines checklist of things you should have, and my preparation list for moving or traveling out to the Philippines on my website for free. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.